What's going on, everybody? Mike McIntyre here, back from All Things Sports, bringing you a brand new video today. This is the final video of 2021. We're sending the year off. I wish you all a happy new year, happy 2022. Let's get into the final review video of the year. This is my top 5 boot releases of 2021. Let's go. Alright guys, Mike McIntyre, All Things Sports, bringing you my final video for 2021. Thank you guys for stopping by as always. Here we go, the last video of 2021. I'm super excited. 2021 was a big year. I'm super happy with what I was able to achieve as a channel. As a content creator, I was able to kind of branch out into new areas. I'm still bringing the boot videos, don't you worry, for all of those that were here from the very beginning watching the boot reviews. So let's end off 2021 with a video I do every year, the top 5 boot releases of 2021. At number 5 comes in with the Nike Tiempo Legend 9. This is a boot I am really excited about. I think Nike kind of lost their way a little bit in recent years and recent months with their releases. I think this Legend 9 is a good step forward for them. They're still trying to merge that kind of modern feel with a classic heritage-like boot, but at least in my opinion, this one does look like they're going back to almost that Maestri 360 kind of design. It looks like there's that little bit of pod or memory foam element on the upper. Still made with kangaroo leather. There's some prime knit built in there. It reminds me of a Kanga Light, where you have this hybrid material sort of merging leather and more modern fabrics, at least with the knitted material or synthetics. I was very disappointed, if I'm honest, with the Legend 8. I wasn't a big fan of the upper with all those dimples. The Legend 7 was okay, but it's just, I think, a boot that kind of lost its way, and I think it's back on track with the Legend 9. So kudos to Nike, because I think overall their boots have dipped a little bit, and the Legend 9 is one that, at least for me, looks really exciting, looks really promising for the second half of 2021 and heading into the new year. So that comes in at number 5 with the Nike Tiempo Legend 9. This one I'm kind of eating my words, to be honest, because I'm still not a fan, but I know from comments on my review video that this one was a really popular boot. So coming in at number 4 is the Puma Ultra 1.2. They have gone on to the 1.3, but I'm not sold on that, and I haven't brought it in for a review yet. The availability seems to be a little bit strange, at least here in Canada. I haven't been able to find them. So I'm bringing back the Ultra 1.2 in the Spectra Pack colorway. Now, I reviewed these back in, I think it was April or May, whenever it came out. And I wasn't a huge fan of the colorway, if I'm honest. I kind of ripped the colorway in my review video, but tons and tons of people commented on the video saying that that was one of the best colorways of the year. So I'm a huge fan of the Ultra. I think the Ultra 1.2 was a really solid speed boot, had a nice wide fit for those that had wider feet. They were easy to get on. The upper seemed really, really cool. It was a different material. It wasn't a pure synthetic. It wasn't a knit either. It was kind of a textile material of the two. Really neat upper, super thin, super light. It fit well. And again, for wide feet, it was a legit speed boot that actually fit really, really well. Again, I wasn't a huge fan of this Ultra 1.2, at least in this colorway. I was a fan of the boot, but this colorway wasn't my personal favorite. But based on the feedback I got on the review video and kind of the, you know, the buzz about the boot outside of it. So that boot comes in at number 4 on the list for 2021. Let's head over to number 3. At number 3 comes one of my personal favorites. If it was solely up to me, I'd probably put it at number 1, but I want to try and make these videos as fair and unbiased as possible. So I'm taking into consideration my personal opinions, but also the opinions of people that subscribe to my channel and the overall buzz around a particular boot. So coming in at number 3 is the Adidas Predator Freak 0.1 in the low cut version in the Super Spectral Pack colorway. This was one of my favorite colorway releases of the year. I'm a huge fan of white, pink, and black boots, and this one on the Predator Freak looked really, really good. I almost bought these myself. I brought them in for review, and I almost kept them because they were that good. I was a huge fan of the upper. I think it fit much better than the Plus model and better than last year's Mutator. It was a touch wider, even though it is on the narrower side compared to past Predators that you see up here. But it was a really, really good boot. I was a fan of the grip on the upper. If you're not a fan of grip, well then obviously the Predator is not for you. But I'm a fan of the grip on the upper. I like the way it fit. I love the colorway. And so that comes in at number 3 on my top 5 releases of 2021. I was a huge fan of that Predator in the Super Spectral Pack colorway. And let's move on to number 2. All right, guys, so again, being unbiased, number 2, this is one of the best speed boots, if not the best speed boot on the market. It dropped in the summer of 2021. It replaced the Adidas X Ghosted, and the Adidas X Speedflow 0.1 comes in at number 2 for me. It was a very, very impressive release when it came out. The first one I reviewed was the messy colorway for the Copa America in that kind of brown color, and I hated the colorway, but I was really, really impressed with the boot itself. The upper combined, you know, thinness, flexibility, softness, all into one, and that's, I mentioned it in that video, it's extremely difficult to do. To get all 3 characteristics down and so that they fit well is not easy. You usually have to sacrifice one of them, and for whatever reason, that Speedflow 0.1 and that upper really does combine the best kind of flexibility, thinness, and softness that you're gonna get from that kind of synthetic upper material. They did a really, really good job on that Adidas X Speedflow. I was a huge fan. In all my review videos, depending, you know, it doesn't matter what colorway it was a very, very good boot. So I'm not even giving you a specific colorway for this Speedflow 0.1. It was such a good upper and such a good jump forward for that X line that you choose whatever color you want, but I'm putting the Speedflow 0.1 with laces in at number 2. And let's head over to the top boot release of 2021. Okay, so this one's coming in at a bit of a shock for me too, because I've been very open about the fact that laceless boots, while they're cool and I'm a fan of them, there's no denying that a boot with laces tends to provide better lockdown and just allows for a better fit because the user can actually customize how the laces feel and how the boot fits on their particular foot. But this one was so good. It's probably the best laceless boot that's ever been released. The Adidas X Speedflow Plus. I was super impressed with the upper, with that prime knit upper, that textile kind of feeling that they got on it. There was a little bit of difference between the upper on the Speedflow 0.1 and the Speedflow Plus. I did a video on that actually if you want to go check it out. But the upper on the Speedflow Plus, in order for it to be laceless, they did a fantastic job giving you that necessary lockdown. Again, it's not necessarily as good as a boot with laces, but it's very impressive. But the fit of a boot without laces is extraordinarily good. I don't know how they did it. There's very little dead space in that boot. I love the way it looks on feet when I put that boot on. It's just super slick, no dead space, no unnatural creasing because of the way the upper fits. It's just a really, really impressive boot from a tech specs perspective. And I think it is a very, very good release in terms of a laceless boot and what the technology can do. I really hope they don't change that one too much because I really think that, at least from a speed boot perspective and even from the Predator perspective, it's been one of the best laceless boots that I think has ever been released. I was a huge fan of it. It fits well. Even wide-footed people could get into it. It wasn't the most difficult boot to get on compared to last year's Ghosted. For a laceless model, it was actually relatively easy to get on, and once they were on, they fit like a glove. There were no dead spaces. The upper was soft. It didn't hurt your foot so much so that it was uncomfortable, and it really was an impressive boot from a technical perspective. That upper was very, very impressive. That's it for my top 5 boot releases of 2021. I think it's an appropriate time to drop the video. Here we are on New Year's Eve. Let's get into 2022. I have some very, very big plans for 2022. Again, we're going to be continuing with the boot reviews. Don't you worry. I'm going to bring plenty of boot reviews, but we're also going to branch out into some other projects that I've planned for 2022. So 2022 is going to be a big year. Let's get this thing bigger. I have a few goals in mind in terms of projects and things I'd like to do. But in terms of subscribers, I need you guys to help me out. So if you can hit that button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, hit the like button, that really helps the video out. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being a part of All Things Sports, and I'll catch you guys in 2022. Mike McIntyre, All Things Sports, signing for now. Take care.